clinking of wine glasses and boisterous laughter grated on my nerves. I clenched my fists, staring daggers into the back of my estranged father Derek's head. There sat, living it up in a restaurant with his trophy wife Tiffany and their spoiled teenage kids. The family I never knew. I took a deep breath and stormed across the dining area. "What are you doing here?" I demanded. Derek lazily twisted in his seat to face me, his lips curling into a smug grin. "Rowan, what a quaint little place you have. And your mother owns this inn, I presume?" My blood boiled at his condescending tone. "We built this place from the ground up. It's called Larkspur Inn." "How adorable," sneered Derek. He waved his hand flippantly. "Serve more wine." I dug my fingernails into my palms, struggling to restrain myself. Just then, Mom emerged from the kitchen, her body stiffening when she spotted our unwelcome guests, her eyes flooded with hurt. I implored her to stay calm with a subtle shake of my head. Well, Mara, you're looking older." Derek snickered. "Get out," then muttered chirpily. Brooke feigned offense. "Is that how you treat an old friend?" He grinned wickedly. "Especially one who could buy this place twice over?" Tiffany tittered obnoxiously, while her son Garrett snorted. More like 10 times over. I saw red. Lunging forward, I grabbed Derek by his ostentatious silk tie. "Listen, you arrogant pig. I won't let you waltz in here, after 20 years and insult my family." Garrett jumped from his seat, fists balled. Derek raised a hand, his expression amused. Who knew little Rowan would grow up to be so uncivilized? He lazily pried my fingers from his tie, straightening the expensive fabric. "Let's not make fools of ourselves now." I trembled with rage as Derek and his family rose to leave. Pausing beside me, Derek hissed under his breath. "This place won't last a year with Mara's condition. Work my words." His threat hung heavily in the tense air, even after he disappeared into the night. I barely slept, Derek's threat echoing in my mind. As daylight streamed into my bedroom, memories of our troubled past flooded back. I was 8 when Derek walked out. I still vividly remember his icy glare when Mom confronted him about money disappearing from their account, savings they desperately needed for her mounting medical bills. "Check yourself into the loony bin if you want," he had spat. "I'm done bankrolling this family." He left us penniless and broken. Mom's health rapidly deteriorated. We survived only with local food banks and charity. My childhood vanished overnight. I furiously swiped at a stray tear, refusing to shed another for that monster. Yet the painful memories persisted. Endless days, holding vigil at Mom's hospital bedside, her skin waxy and gray against the stair. The sterile sheets. My nights were spent working odd jobs just to keep us afloat, never certain if each fitful sleep would be my last with her. But Mom was a fighter. So was old Joe, a recovering patient who had turned as her guardian angel. He funneled his new tech, fortune into finally getting her proper treatment. Almost miraculously, Mom began recovering. When back on her feet, Mom poured her renewed energy into helping others, determined to pay old Joe's kindness forward. With his backing, we converted his family estate into the Larkspur Inn and Recovery Center, a safe refuge for those battling for their lives like Mom once did. Over time, the inn flourished into the warm, thriving hub it is today, and old Joe's continued patronage ensures cutting-edge care for those who need it most. I found Mom outside, humming contentedly while tending her medicinal herb garden. Gently clasping her slender shoulders, I turned her to face me. "He won't hurt us again," I said fiercely. "Just we won't let him." Mom graced me with a sad smile. "Rowan, the years I lost to anger and bitterness almost destroyed me more than any illness could. Derek must walk his own path now. We must walk ours." I looked into her tired, but steadfast eyes that had seen the worst life could offer, yet still gleamed with hope. My chest swelled with love, admiration for this remarkable woman. Gripping her weathered hands, I made a silent vow. Our enemies would not prevail. The Larkspur Inn would stand tall for decades to come, a sanctuary from all who wished us harm. I slid the last batch of blueberry muffins into the display case, just as our first guests arrived. Old Joe lumbered through the front doors, leaning heavily on his carved oak cane. "Morning, Rowan," he bellowed. "Got any scones today?" I grinned. "Chocolate chip, your favorite." As old Joe inspected the pastry selection, a young couple entered behind him, a very pregnant woman cradling her belly and a worried-looking man with his arms supportively around her waist. I grabbed 2 menus and hastened over. "Welcome to Larkspur Inn," I said warmly. "A table for 2? The man's eyes crinkled with relief. "Yes, please. My wife needs to get off her feet quickly." I led them to a quiet corner nook with plush armchairs. The woman sank gratefully into the cushions while her husband helped ease her swollen feet onto a footstool. "I'm Rowan, the owner," I said, handing them the muse. "Can I get you some peppermint ginger tea? It does wonders for nausea." "You're godsend," laughed the woman weakly. She extended her hand. "I'm Amelia, and this bundle of joy is our daughter Zoe." Her husband smiled and introduced himself as Donovan. I returned minutes later with hot mugs, honey and lemon. As Amelia sipped her tea, color slowly returned to her cheeks. "We've been traveling for Donovan's new job," she explained. I didn't react well to the long car ride. "Well, you're welcome to recover here as long as needed," I assured. "Your meal is on the house today." Amelia and Donovan protested, but I insisted. "It's the least we can do. My mama always says paying kindness forward is the only way to drive out darkness." I left the couple chatting comfortably and retreated to the kitchen to help Mom prep for lunch service. As we cooked and bantered, my lingering fury toward Derek ebbed. Mom was right. We had to let it go. This inn was our legacy, our light that would always win out over the shadows of our past. After their meal, Amelia and Donovan thanked us profusely. At their request, I packed extra ginger tea bags and snacks for their road trip. "We can't thank you enough for your generosity," said Donovan, shaking my hand. "We'll be sure to come back and visit with our zitambere." I waved fondly as the couple departed with renewed energy and optimism. Mom squeezed my shoulder, pride shining in her eyes. "You did a mitzvah for those folks." Rowan came a gravelly voice behind us. Joe ambled over, pattered sugar-coating his bushy mustache. "Your parents raised a fine woman." Hearing those long overdue words from a father figure, even if not my own, stirred up unexpected emotion. But I swallowed it down, simply embracing the old man in a surge of gratitude. Together we turned back toward the inn that love built, ready to kindle more lights against the gathering dusk. I awoke before dawn, too excited to go back to sleep. Today was the inn's 5-year anniversary. But from its humble beginnings, the larkspur had blossomed into the pillar of our community, and I was thrilled to celebrate how far we'd all come. As I helped Mom prepare for the festivities, fond memories flooded back, scraping together every last penny to convert the crumbling estate into a functional business, soling endless loads of laundry, while Mom sculpted the wild overgrowth into beautiful gardens. The first few nights we officially opened, unable to sleep from equal parts anxiety and optimism, but things rapidly improved with support from unexpected allies. Old Joe single-handedly replaced the creaky floorboards and leaky pipes. Amelia, now little Zoe's godmother, designed our exquisite website pro bono. Local musicians donated weekly performances. Initially wary townsfolk soon embraced the inn's charm, and Mom's delectable gluten-free muffins sealed the deal. By mid-morning, familiar faces filled the sun-dappled gardens as our ragtag staff hustled to serve the bustling breakfast crowd. I was refilling coffee when the front desk clerk tugged my sleeve. "You've got an important phone call," she whispered. Puzzled, I excused myself to take the mystery call. "This is Rowan," I answered briskly. "Good morning, this is Isabel Montgomery with the Pacific Gazette," responded a woman's assertive voice. "I'm calling to see if you'll be available for an interview about the wild success of Larkspur Inn. Our subscribers adore these kinds of grassroots local business stories." I nearly dropped the phone. A renowned paper like Pacific Gazette wanted to feature us. "Oh, really?" I stammered. "I mean, yes, of course. When did you want to meet with us?" "How about this Wednesday at noon? And I'd love an exclusive tour if possible. These photos will look superb next to the story." We eagerly finalized the details. As soon as I hung up, Mom and I let out elated squeals and hugged fiercely. The future we'd fought so hard for was finally within reach. Illustrations over the next few days, everyone pitched in to meticulously polish every corner of the inn. We even planted a fresh row of hydrangeas bordering the stone walkway. On Wednesday morning, I arose at dawn, too antsy to sleep. Today could set us on the path we'd always dreamed of. And after double-checking the gardens and parlors until my nerves settled, I took my place at the front entrance. Just as the old grandfather clock chimed noon, a sleek sedan pulled up. I straightened my skirt and stepped forward to welcome Pacific Gazette into our world at last. I smoothed my sweaty palms down my skirt, watching the driveway like a hawk. Any minute now, Pacific Gazette's feature story would hit the stands. After Isabel's glowing review, reservations soared overnight. Her fabulous photos and praise for Mom's ethereal gardens drew visitors from 3 towns over. We even made room for a yoga studio and spa. I was bursting with pride. Glancing at my watch, I sighed. Nathan was running late to help with the evening dinner rush. My wonderful husband of 18 months was an angel, supporting me every step of the way. My spine stiffened. Speak of the devil slinking up the drive, a contemptuous grin splitting Derek's face as he exited an ostentatious sports car with Tiffany and the Brady twins. Clenching my fists, I marched outside. I told you never to come back, and pretended to puke. Where are your manners? I'm a paying customer. His smug tone made my blood boil. I blocked their path. We're full. I had to try the motel down the road. Derek only smirked wider. Before he could react, the twins shoved past me, their mother huffing indignantly. Garrett! Amy! Get back here! She screeched. Bates impressed me. I moved to stop them just as the front doors burst open. Amy swaggered out, clutching a bottle of champagne. Garrett trailed behind, munching on Mom's ginger cookies like a starved hog. I gasped in horror as he deliberately crushed the rest under his shoe. Rowan, we have a situation in the... Mom halted abruptly, paling at the sight of our tormentors. Stigic sauntered up beside her. Mara, still hideously dressed. I see. What a quaint life you've carved out here. His lip curled derisively, almost like you forgot your place. Mom stood motionless as stone. I instantly saw the frail patient she once was, broken by cruelty. An instinctive rage propelled me forward. Get out now? Derek went rigid, fists clenching. Then you laxed into a slimy grin. Oh, we're leaving. This dump isn't worth staying in any way with such inhospitable service. He grabbed Mom's arm and bent to her ear. We both know you're one tragedy away from losing everything again. Fiddles. I trembled with fury watching them go, vowing Derek would never shatter our peace again. After comforting Mom, I joined the others cleaning the chaos. Soon laughter and light permeated the inn once more. As darkness fell, Nathan's strong arms enveloped me, reassuring me that no matter what came, together we'd withstand anything. I clung to that hope as we settled down for the night, wary of what tomorrow might bring. I awoke with a start, instantly on high alert. Muffled thuds and glass shattering pierced the pre-dawn silence. My heart raced as I shook Nathan awake. Next, someone's breaking in downstairs. I whispered. We crept to the staircase landing, peering into the darkened dining hall. Three voices and contemptuous laughter drifted up as shadows rioted among overturned chairs and broken dishes. I gasped as Derek and his good-for-nothing kids came into view, guzzling our finest wine straight from the bottle. Garrett filled his pockets with patrons' forgotten valuables, while Amy carved curse words into the tables. Blinding rage consumed me. This ends now, I declared, flying down the stairs with Nathan on my heels. What the hell do you think you're doing? I thundered. Derek draped his arm around a terrified teen waitress. Just having some fun, he slurred, reeking of alcohol. You should loosen up. His lewd implication pushed me over the edge. With a feral cry, I launched myself at Derek, years of pent-up hurt and hate fueling my fists. Nathan and Garrett quickly joined the brawl while Amy laughed maniacally. Suddenly, a gunshot split the air. We all froze as old Joe aimed his rifle at the ceiling, his face thunderous. Within minutes, police sirens wailed outside. The officers reeled as they took in the scene. Broken glass and splintered wood littered the floor. Garrett bled from his busted lip, casting baleful glares at Nathan over his raised hands. As Derek spewed lies to defend himself, the waitress tearfully recounted his harassment. Meanwhile, Amy tried to slip upstairs, only for Mom to drag her back by the ear. I almost pitied Derek as his facade of civility slowly crumbled to reveal the gutless, petty thief from our past. The judge seemed to agree, denying him bail after learning of his record. As the cops hauled my deadbeat father away in handcuffs, Mom quietly slipped her hand into mine, her normally gentle eyes now steel. I knew she was finally shedding the last chains of Derek's abuse. We all were, standing tall amidst the rubble he left behind. Later that morning, our makeshift family of staff, old Joe, and so many others arrived with garbage bags and breakfast sandwiches. As we restored order, I basked in the outpouring of support, knowing we would come back stronger. By lunchtime, Larkspur Inn shone pristine once more, emanating the warmth and welcome I fell in love with years ago. Nathan wrapped me in his strong embrace as we surveyed our little slice of heaven. No more living in fear, he murmured. I smiled up at him, confidence and joy swelling in my heart. Our future shimmered bright as the dawn we almost missed. But the shadows that haunted us were banished for good by the unbreakable bonds Derek never understood. Bonds I knew could withstand anything. I stirred an extra spoonful of honey into old Joe's tea, hoping to lift his spirits. He hadn't been the same since Derek's arrest. I couldn't blame him. The ordeal dredged up painful memories I knew he'd rather forget. As if reading my thoughts, old Joe sighed deeply. I should have told you, Mara. Everything from the start. It might have spared you years of misery with that leech. He nodded at Nathan. But at least my grandson helped give you the life you deserve. I froze, nearly sloshing tea onto my sweater. Wait, Nathan is your grandson? Old Joe grimaced. I ended up on the streets years back after Derek robbed me blind. I was too ashamed to ask my estranged daughter for help. She had just had little Nathan then. He shook his head bitterly. By the time she found me living in the park, I was almost gone. I had spent my last penny on the train here, hoping Mara could fix me. And that angel surely did. I stared bewildered between the two men I loved most. Nathan gripped old Joe's shoulder, emotion creasing his eyes. And we finally found you again. That's all that matters now. Shaken, I excused myself to clear dishes, my mind reeling. Only as I began rinsing platters did dots start connecting. Nathan's surname changed after our wedding, his refusal to discuss childhood details, that inexplicable familiarity I noticed between him and Mom. A few days passed before Sheriff Brown arrived bearing curious news. Derek's arraignment revealed his financed lifestyle stemmed from years spent embezzling from employers. His sympathy-garnering tales of supporting an ailing daughter were all smoke and mirrors. Digesting this, I realized Derek likely scammed countless innocents like old Joe. A fiery conviction to turn the tables took hold. At dinner weeks later, Nathan and I shared sly smiles, anticipating Mom and old Joe's reactions. Clearing his throat, Nathan began casually conversing about a recent multi-million-dollar business launch. Mom's eyes blew wide as the reality sank in. As with old Joe's investment, that means, "You two are now my employers," chuckled Nathan, handing the flabbergasted pair ceremonial keys to his tech company. Consider it long overdue payback and the perfect way to secure Larkspur's future. An overjoyed laughter and tears flowed. I caught Mom's watery gaze, an ocean's worth of words, and memories passing silently between us. At long last, we harvest the bounty of what we've sown with patience and toil. Vision and the future stretches brightly before me. Seated in the bonds of love, I'll fiercely protect all my days. I gently stirred a spoonful of honey into Mom's favorite evening tea, watching fiery shades of crimson and violet melt into the horizon. Inking into the padded porch swing beside me, she wrapped a worn quilt around our shoulders and pulled me close. No words needed, just cherishing our private rituals. My pulse quickened as I gathered courage for the announcement I'd been dying to share all week. I pressed Mom's hand excitedly. "What is it, love?" she asked, taciturn. "I have some big news." I began, grinning until my cheeks hurt. "You're gonna be a grandmother." Mom's delighted cry sent birds scattering as she engulfed me in her arms. Joyful tears tracked down our smiling faces. First a little baby girl, she marveled softly once her happy sobs subsided. I gazed toward the inn, aglow in the dusk, lively silhouettes dancing behind the curtained windows as Nathan's rich laughter carried into the quiet night. My heart swelled with bone-deep contentment. Mom gently turned my shoulders toward her, eyes brimming with pride. "Just look how far we've come, Rowan. I always believed we'd get here somehow." Memories marched steadily through my mind on invisible feet. Derek swaggered out without a glance back, his haughty laughter fading down the lane. Long days working odd jobs to afford medicine, as I prayed each night might not be Mom's last. First hopeful sparks rekindled in her tired eyes as Larkspur took shape through blistered hands and unified dreams. I blinked back bittersweet tears, gazing steadily at the woman who weathered terrifying storms yet never stopped nurturing everyone but herself. Fate tried repeatedly to crush her light, but Mom tended her flickering hopes until they ignited brilliantly once more. Now we basked in the warmth of the homegrown from those fragile beginnings, welcoming new buds flourishing among the protective branches we'd cultivated. A tiny flutter in my womb reminded me that I, too, sheltered the start of something beautiful. As Mom and I planned excitedly for tomorrow, I sensed generations of powerful women watching benevolently through the veil of stars unveiled above us. As their legacy marches on. And bit by bit, we'll continue building a sanctuary to shield every struggling light until they blaze bright enough to guide travelers home, just as Mom did for me, just as I'll do for my daughter. This is the start of our story, not the end, and no darkness can extinguish the hearth fires we've sparked within these nurtured walls.